2016. The microphone is yours, President Richardson.
Well, thank you. Let me add a word of welcome. We're delighted that you're here today to celebrate the hiring of our new basketball coach, David Richards. You know, David is certainly no stranger to Westminster, having graduated from here in 2009 and has had an exemplary career as a coach. And we're excited about him coming home to Mother Fair to guide our young men in what I know will be some great seasons in the years to come. You know, Westminster takes great pride in the history of our basketball program. And those of you who know Westminster know that our gymnasium is named after legendary coach Buzz Riddle. The floor of our gym is named after legendary coach Ron Galbraith. Every time I walk in, I'm just reminded about the legacy, not only of great coaching, but of great modeling and great mentoring. And I'm so excited to have David here. I know he's going to continue in that great tradition, and I hope you will all come out to see us play come November. So thank you very much, David. We're happy to have you home.
I promised the president and I didn't coordinate comments, but we'll have some similar things to say. Thank you, first of all, for all of you being here today on a truly exciting day for Westminster College. Really looking forward to what the future holds. So thank you for being here today to celebrate. Very few basketball coaches have the privilege of coming to work at the Buzz Riddle Gymnasium and to coach on Ron Galbraith's court. These individuals are two of the all-time Titan legends when it comes to the tradition and history that is Westminster men's basketball. Having played for and graduated from Westminster, I love that David Richards understands, respects, and embraces the expectations to continue the tradition and history of the program he has now been hired to lead. When I was looking for a new coach, I wanted someone who could recruit high-character student-athletes, value and appreciate academics, develop young men, graduate his athletes, and compete for PAC championships. In his 7 seasons as head coach at Chatham University, Coach Richards won 120 games, had the most overall wins in the PAC during that period, won 3 PAC championships, qualified for 3 NCAA tournaments, and was named Coach of the Year on 2 separate occasions. Last season, he set the program record for overall wins at 23 and conference wins at 18. He was able to accomplish this at a program that has only sponsored basketball for 10 short years, which is remarkable. I'm excited for our current players, our men's basketball alumni, the local community, and the Westminster campus. David Richards is a winner, and I couldn't be more excited for him to be our next head men's basketball coach. Please join me in welcoming Coach Richards back to New Wilmington. Thank you.
Well, this is a pretty surreal moment for me. I'd just like to start off by saying I'm honored and humbled to be able to stand here as the new men's basketball coach at Westminster College. I'd like to thank President Kathy Richardson and Athletic Director Jason Lener for entrusting me and believing in me to lead this program. I'd also like to thank the whole Westminster community for their warm welcome. To say Westminster is a special place to me would be a very understatement. You know, I've been coming to this campus since my childhood. I remember coming to games as an 8-year-old with my dad, watching very Titan greats like Jimmy D'Alessandro and Booker Newberry, and the gym was electric, basketball was booming. You know, I remember coming to the Ron Galbraith basketball camp, you know, staying overnight in the dorms and doing ball handling drills in the parking lot when there were still hoops out there. Then I got to experience 4 great years as a student athlete here. And I still have great relationships with a lot of my teammates, classmates. Some guys are here right now. But, being a former student athlete and team captain here, I understand what this college stands for. I've walked in these hallways. I wore the Titan blue. I played in the field house. I know firsthand what it means to wear that jersey. So when this job came open, it was a very, very easy decision for me. It was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. This is home, and I wanted to be here. The Titan tradition is very strong. The commitment to excellence, you can feel it the moment you step on campus. The Titan greats, the list runs deep. You can go on and on about the former Titan players. But to be able to stand up here and hold the same job title as 2 true Westminster basketball coaching legends in Buzz Riddle and Ron Galbraith is truly an honor, and it's something I take great, great pride in. I spent 7 years as the head coach at Chatham University. In those 7 years, we won 3 PAC championships. We had 2 20-win seasons. We made 3 appearances in the NCAA tournament. But the one thing we always talked about was the process of becoming a good team, right? And every single day trying to get better, okay? Whether that was in the weight room for a workout, a film session, a practice, an individual workout, or a game, we were committed to having relentless effort, being great teammates, and doing things the right way, okay? And that same day, every system that we did at Chatham, I plan on bringing here to Westminster. My vision for this program is very simple. We're going to build a culture on hard work, accountability, toughness, and togetherness. Every single time we step on the court, we're going to compete and represent Westminster the right way. And you will see a very stingy, aggressive defensive team. You will see an offense that focuses on spacing, having great pace, and taking care of the basketball. And the one thing I can promise, this coaching staff will work to make sure our guys are the most prepared team in the league. We will recruit very talented, high-character student athletes that will represent Westminster on the court, in the classroom, and in the community. Okay? And we will develop them as professionals in every aspect of their life. To the current guys, I've already told you this. I can't wait to get to work. I wish we can leave here and go practice right now. I'm so excited about next year. I think it's going to be a great year for us. But the one thing I will say to you guys, I'm here to invest in you as players and as people. Like I said, my office door is always open. Come down. We can talk hoops. We can talk school. We can talk life. Right? I'm here for you guys to make sure your experience as a student athlete is great here. To my family, my mother, my father, my 2 brothers who couldn't be here, my girlfriend Caitlin, and our beautiful daughter Aria, thank you guys for always believing in me, being there for me, your constant support. I wouldn't be in this position without you guys. The Titan blue really runs deep in our family. My parents are both Westminster alums, class of 1984. My dad was the starting point guard on the 1982 championship team. They played in the NAI national tournament. But the one thing I will say, though, is my coaching edge and coaching toughness definitely comes from my mother. But lastly, thank you for everyone being here. This is a new chapter in Westminster basketball. I'm so excited to be here. It's time we raise the bar of this program and make it the best program in the PAC. Thank you, and go Titans.
I have a pretty big voice, so I'll just ask the question.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So it's been a little over a week since coming on board. Mm-hmm. Is it all starting to set in? How would you say things are going as you get more familiar with your players, your program, the athletic department?
It's been great. I've been here for almost less than a week. I've got to meet the whole team. We've had individual meetings this week. The coaching in the athletic department, they have been great with me. Any questions or feedback I need, they've been there for me. Jason's awesome to work for in this first week. I got to meet our admissions team, and obviously that's a huge part of Division III athletics is, the admissions. So this first week has been tremendous, and I'm, just so happy to be here.
You talked a little bit about it, but being a Westminster guy, somebody who's been coaching in this building over the last 7 years on another team. You understand as well as anyone the passion of the fan base here, how hungry these folks are for a consistent winner. Mm-hmm. What's first on your list to get people to buy into your process of building a championship program?
Yeah, the one thing is we want alumni to be involved in this program. The alumni have an open door policy to come watch any practice, shoot around we have. We want them to be involved as much as possible in this program. And the one thing I will tell them is, my time here as a student athlete, I was a part of the 2007 PAC regular season championship team. We went to the NCAA tournament, right? I've had experience of winning here, right? But I've also had experience of winning in this league. So I know what it takes to win. I know the type of player we need. I know the type of work ethic we need. I'm ready to, raise some banners here and make sure our alumni are proud of this program.
What kind of advantage is it for you, having played at Westminster and now recruiting players to Westminster?
Yeah, I think I can sit in my office with a recruit and go through the exact experience as a student athlete here. I went through it for 4 years. So I can talk to them about the classes you got to take, the schedule you got to take, the commitment you have to be a very good player here. Then also, already coaching in this league as well, right? I know the type of player we need. I know the type of commitment we need. So I think being here already as a student athlete, coaching in this league, really gives us an advantage to recruit some very good players.
Here's a chance to talk a little bit about just your experience as a student athlete at Westminster. What is your biggest memory as a player inside Buzzard Gymnasium?
A lot of good memories. I'll pat myself on the back quick. Scoring 28 points versus Thomas More. I'll throw that out there real quick. But there's so many memories with practice and shoot-arounds and games. There are memories you cherish for your whole life. Last Friday I was with 2 teammates, and for an hour and a half we talked about the bus rides and trip to the South Padre Island, a trip to Arizona. There's so many things that go into being a student athlete that you'll never forget, and I want to make sure our guys experience that, but also experience it with winning games too.
Yeah. Coach, the last question I have for you is describe your coaching style.
I would say it's a teaching with a lot of energy. The one thing I require of our guys is to always bring a high level of energy to our practices. So if I'm going to require those guys to bring energy, then I have to be the guy that set the tone every single day. So when we had our first team meeting, that's the one thing I told those guys. We're going to compete. We're going to feel the jump on energy, and I can promise them that every single day that I'll bring it.
We can open it up for questions if anyone else has something for Coach Richards.
Ben Kelly, WCN. Coach, very illustrious career in the short time you had at Chatham. What drove the decision to leave a 2 PAC championships in 3 years and then come home here to Westminster?
Yeah, I think this program should be the best program in the league. With the campus life, the academics, the facilities, the tradition, and also being an alma mater, my alma mater, I felt like we could do a lot of special things here, and I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to come back home. Listen, we leave no stone unturned in recruiting, so you got a year, we'll get you. Yep. Dom, you're not welcome.
Just staying with recruits, what do you say to maybe a recruit that you had at Chatham who now you've switched here to Westminster? How do you keep in contact with them and try and get them to flip coming here?
Yeah, I think the whole recruiting landscape kind of changes on a year-to-year basis, and the whole college basketball became kind of like a business. So when I took the job, that was one of the first things I did was contact all our recruits and let them know the decision I made, and let them know they still had a home. Like I said, one of the things is recruiting is such an important part of college athletics. It's a non-stop commitment now. It's year-round. One of the things we're going to do is make sure we recruit our backyard of Western PA and Eastern Ohio. But with the power of social media and the AAU scene now, we won't be scared to get out of region and be aggressive in the transfer portal. But any guy that I recruit at Chatham, we made sure we reached out to him and just let them know why I took this job and why it was the right fit for me. Yep. First, good luck today. Yep. The one thing we always talk about going to the big games is just sticking to what we do, right? Not really. We always talked about is always being prepared, right? That's why our practices were always, high level and a lot of energy. We never wanted our guys to feel like the game was too big for them. So always just kind of sticking to what we did best and making sure our guys knew they had the confidence to go out there to make the right plays and play their game. They always had, we always had their back.
Kind of just going off of what Richardson made me think about working here as staff with other coaches and all together with offices in the field house. How will you think about connecting and maybe sharing experiences or trying to learn from some of the other veteran coaches?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of the veteran coaches, when I was here, they're still here. So, I'm always looking for feedback. I'm always looking to get better as coaches, like Coach Scott. I actually have a quick story about Coach Scott. I had a acting class as a student, and we had to do a short kind of bit, and my bit was doing Coach Scott on the sideline, how passionate she was on the sideline. But yeah, I mean, that's why it's one of the best things about especially Division III athletics is the community of coaches. Like I said, I'm always looking for feedback to get better. I want all the teams in the department to win. So any way that I could help a coach, I'd be willing to help out, and anything that they're willing to give to the basketball program, I'm willing to accept.
So a lot of coaches have different coaching styles. Could you describe your coaching philosophy, how to instill that into your players and really win over the locker room and buy them into the program?
Yeah. The one thing we always talked about when I was at Chatham, we kind of had a standard. And there are 4 things that you could do on a daily basis regardless of your basketball talent. And the 4 things were, 1, having relentless effort, right? The second thing was always being coachable. The third thing was having positive body language. And the 4th thing was being a great teammate, right? So if you can do those 4 things on a daily basis, right, you have a chance to be a good team, okay? If you have to go into practice every single day and coach effort, right, or coach a kid that has, a negative body language and he's in a pout every single time there's a bad play, it's hard to become a good team, right? So, having that standard of every single day will just put us in a position to become a good team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
So, Coach is going to hang around afterwards if anyone has any individual questions or anything like that. But again, thank you guys for all being here. I know it means a lot to me. It means a lot to Jason, and I'm sure it means a lot to Coach as well. So thank you very much.